What's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another character spotlight type of video. Want to give my thoughts on one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. This one we're going to be doing a character spotlight on the Wolverine. Alright, good stuff. So this is one I definitely wanted to do while I continue to do these character spotlight type videos. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to make, how many of these I'm going to go forward with. It depends how much people like them, because at first it seemed like people were really into them, then afterwards it was kind of like they're not. I don't know. They're pretty vague. That's the thing about it. They're pretty open. And when you have something that's so vague and general like that, it's not specified to one particular thing. When I'm just talking about a general character, and I'm not talking about, a specific movie or reviewing a show that they're in, I'm not sure how much interest there is. But definitely one of the ones I want to do just for my own interest, because I love the character so much, is Marvel's Wolverine. Wolverine is one of my absolute favorite characters from Marvel, if not my favorite. He's definitely one of the top ones for me because I am a huge fan of X-Men. I always have been since I was younger, and Wolverine has always been my favorite character of the X-Men. I mean, how could he not be? I think it's funny the way the movies have gone, the live-action movies from Fox. Because they have the license for X-Men, where instead of going the comic book route where you have Cyclops there all the way through, at some point they just decide, you know what, nobody likes Cyclops. Let's just have Wolverine step into the forefront. Now, granted, that was also because the actor who played Cyclops wanted to go and work on Superman Returns, which was an atrocity. Big time career mistake there, that's for sure. And Wolverine just kind of like became their forefront character. In Days of Future Past, which will be hitting soon, a couple weeks, he'll be, of course, the front runner again, which he kind of was in the comic books, I would say. Well, kind of, but it's funny how, like, with the posters of the movies now, they actually say Hugh Jackman. Like, they'll say Days of X-Men, Days of Future Past, and it'll say Hugh Jackman on the posters, even when he's not even on the poster. It'll be like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, and they'll be like Professor X, and maybe and it'll just say Hugh Jackman at the bottom. It's like, what? And his career, for the most part, to be honest with you, I would say, I mean, he's an amazing actor. Don't read this the wrong way. But I would say because he got that role as Wolverine, his career has skyrocketed. If he did not get that role as Wolverine, if he didn't land it, and they didn't pick him, because there was somebody they were going to pick before him, by the way. He was not their first choice, but the other actor didn't want to do it, and then he took it. And his career, is huge since then, of course. The Wolverine movies, X-Men Origins, and The Wolverine. Apparently, they're going to be making another one. All of the X-Men flicks. He's probably the actor, I want to say, that's been in the most superhero movies as a main character. So Stanley doesn't count. But when you add up all the movies Hugh Jackman's Wolverine has been in for X-Men, or just his own two movies, it's probably the most, to be honest with you. So very cool stuff. So with the character, of course, we can talk about all kinds of the different versions of him and that kind of stuff, but for the most part, Wolverine remains to be the same no matter which iteration you look at. Whereas I did a spotlight on Batman a few weeks back. If you guys are interested and you missed that, check that out. And basically, one of the things I said is that there's so many different versions of him where they interpret the character differently. You've got your Adam West 60s Batman, then you got your modern Batman, where he's a lot more darker and mean and that kind of stuff, not as happy-go-lucky and all that. Wolverine is pretty much the same no matter which version you read or you watch or you whatever. He's basically the same all the way through. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, I mean, aside from Hugh Jackman being really freakishly tall for Wolverine, because he's supposed to be, Sabretooth always calls him Runt, of course. Aside from that, he's basically the same as he is in the comic books for the most part. Yeah, pretty much. Now, in the last few years with the Wolverine comic books and X-Men, they've kind of changed a lot of things about him. Predominantly, they've turned him into a leader, so to speak, for the team. I think that's kind of influenced by the movies a little bit, because it seems to coincide around the same time that the movies sort of hit. I don't recall in the 90s and that, many years back, ever looking at Wolverine as a leader of his own team. But of course, there was the cartoon show Wolverine and the X-Men. And then obviously in the books, the recent years, he's had his own comic book, also Wolverine, the X-Men. He's had X-Force, which is an incredible read. If any of you haven't checked out X-Force, I can't recommend it enough. It's just really fun for adults who like to see gore and all that kind of stuff, because it has basically a team of X-Men, so to speak, led by Wolverine for the most part. I think nowadays they may have changed that, but he was for the longest time. And they'll hack villains up. They'll just oh man, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore. Wolverine just lets loose in it, so it's pretty cool. So that's some of my favorite stuff with Wolverine. I do like the X-Men or the Wolverine Origins books as well, too. I've read a good number of them, and I do think that they're very well written. They're lots of fun. His Rogues Gallery is really good. Of course, you have Sabretooth, Omega Red. I mean, there's lots of different characters in the Wolverine. Silver Samurai, Maverick, the Weapon X characters, the Project and everything, the mad scientist that creates him and everything. In the movie, it's Stryker, of course. I forget the name of the comic book version, but so you have a lot. He's got a pretty dense Rogues Gallery and a pretty dense cast of supporting characters, X-23 and all these different characters. So in terms of the character himself and why he's so popular, I personally would have to say I think it's his attitude. It's really a lot of fun to see. It's fun to see sort of like an anti-hero like him that is a good guy for the most part, but he's so dangerous. The thing is, like, when you look at his aesthetically, when you look at his frame, you look at what he has, his claws. I mean, there aren't a lot of uses for claws aside from hacking people up. I always thought it was funny in the X-Men in the cartoon series where he would like chop down a tree or something like that, something ridiculous like that. When you really think about it, it's like, what else are you going to use those for practically in real life aside from just hacking people, to be honest with you? And the thing is, he's a hero too, right? So you can't just have him go around hacking everybody up unless it's the X-Force books, which is kind of fun. He's got that rebellious side to him whenever he's in the X-Men when Cyclops is around, where him and Cyclops have never gotten along all the way through all the X-Men books, basically. They always argue, they always fight, he's always got snarky remarks when Cyclops is in charge, up until the point when he's got his own team and he's still kind of disgruntled and angry all the time. So so he's definitely a lot of fun. One of my favorite characters just because of how badass he is. Obviously, his powers are fun. Apparently this year they're going to be maybe killing him off in the Marvel Comics. I don't know how you would kill off Wolverine. I mean, it better be something like heavy to actually do it, because I mean, when you look at him with the healing factor and everything, it's so crazy. He can just heal from absolutely anything. Again, with X-Force, they'll show some of the covers and stuff where he'll just be like, missing body parts and stuff. They kind of went through with that with the X3 movie as well too, when Jean was, Phoenix was going around and his body would just be like getting ripped off and kind of healing back. Really, really cool stuff. So, what else can I say about Wolverine? I mean, I could go on pretty much forever about him. He's one of the best characters there is. I think he's so popular because of his attitude, because he doesn't take any shit from anybody. He's so dangerous. He's so tough. And, he's really unique. I mean, in the way he fights and everything with the claws, with the tracking ability, with the healing. Just a lot of fun. And I really have enjoyed Hugh Jackman's performances as him in the movies. I think he's done a more than incredible job. Probably, if I'd had to pick one actor that really took a character as far as you could possibly take him in the movie universe, so to speak, I think Hugh Jackman did it. Because, I mean, even to the point where he's producing the Wolverine movies, even to the point where he's, doing all of that too, and being in so many, most actors get burned out after a few films, like 2 or 3, right? And he's been in for how many? Like the first 3 X-Men's, cameo in First Class, and then Days of Future Past, and 2 Wolverine movies, so that's 7 right there already. And then Apocalypse might be the last one. That'd be 8 movies. Insane stuff. So aside from that, I mean, I like the stuff with him and Cyclops, kind of fighting over Jean as a love interest. I love the fact that he's got the memory problems where he doesn't really know who he is. You know, at some points his name's Logan, then he realizes it's James Howlett later on, and all that kind of stuff of him kind of going in and out with the memories and all that, and always searching for who he is, the drinking problems, all that other kind of stuff that he has. Definitely an amazing character. You don't get much more fun than the Wolverine. So let me know what you guys think about Wolverine as a character, what you think about X-Men. Are you excited for X-Men Days of Future Past? And what's your favorite, I guess, what's your favorite version? Maybe what your favorite Wolverine suit is as well, too. You know, which one do you prefer? Me, personally, I prefer the 90s animated series Tiger Stripe Wolverine. Either that one, I like the X-Force one, too, is pretty cool. The one in the new movie Days of Future Past looks pretty cool. Or I also like the brown suit from, I think it was like the late 80s or early 90s, that type of thing. It's pretty cool too. Anyway, it's pretty much all I got to say about Wolverine. Amazing character. If you guys want to see me do one on Cyclops, please let me know. Because Cyclops is an interesting one. You know, we could talk about Cyclops for a while because of how he's been handled in the movies and the type of character he actually has become in the comic books. It's very interesting. Anyway, I'll call it here. That's it for this character spotlight. I'll see you guys for the next one if you're still interested. This is Trev. I'm saying peace.